And now I actually love playing a little bit song. And I know even people already can hear me, but it's fine. I'm tuning in on these perfect vibes what we have already established in Stanford actually last autumn. And welcome to Diversity is the Game Changer new episode. I'm very honored, privileged to host today a very special guest because look at her first. Of course, what can you see when you watch this beautiful lady? That she's very beautiful, and of course, she's also beautiful inside out. And she's Ukrainian. She's from my homeland. That's why for me it's even bigger pride to talk and host and present. And the episode has a title as usual and very special one. Actually, I'm citing already my beautiful Fialkora, and even the name is really magic. Like it's actually flower. It's so beautiful. So she said that you don't need to be fixed to belong. So today we are actually have this title, and we're going to discuss trauma, neurodiversity, and the power of inclusive environment. So welcome to the show, my beautiful friend, top expert, specialist, Fialkora Myndru. Welcome.
Thank you so much for this introduce. You heard about me from Valeria. I am psychologist, trauma-informed specialist, and why I'm here, I'm neurodiversity specialist, and I am neurodivergent person.
Myself.
It's not secret.
Cool. So thank you so much, because then it's togetherness, united we are strong. And today, like, we even can joke about this. We are double trouble because we are actually both neurodivergent. That's why we beautifully matched from the very first second, and our vibes really clashed close to the actually elevator. And where, can you guess where? It was Neurodiversity Summit at Stanford, California.
Yeah.
And of course, Ukrainians, they can feel vibrations like immediately, like, and after just couple of, I don't know, word exchange, vibrations, frequency, it was like we have known each other forever. And we decided to make collaboration actually almost immediate, but sometimes a lot of circumstances can postpone things, but we do believe there is always right time to meet right people, and then to also create something powerful. What we are going today, I'm sure it's just our first step. We are planning even more collaborations and useful workshop and business classes for not just for Ukrainians but for other neurodivergent people. And I would like to tell more, because she is beautiful but shy. She just mentioned a couple of things, but I would like to really dive and open more wider about her actually professionalism. And in this deeply human and profoundly necessary episode of Diversity is the Game Changer, we are going to explore what happens when trauma meets neurodiversity, and how inclusive environments can literally redefine the trajectory of life. So like I said, today's guest, proud Ukrainian as myself, Fialkora Myndru, is a clinical and rehabilitation psychologist and trauma-informed specialist from Ukraine, working at the powerful intersection of trauma and neurodiversity. She's an international presenter and advocate for trauma-informed and neurodiversity affirming practices, supporting neurodivergent individuals, families, especially impacted by war, migration, and chronic stress.
Yeah.
Her mission is bold and transformative. People should not feel that they should be fixed in order to belong. So through her clinical work, research, and global speaking engagements, many times also at Stanford, Fialkora creates spaces where dignity replaces stigma, understanding replaces labeling, and regulation replaces survival mode. So this conversation will be not just theoretical, because we are two neurodivergent people.
Yeah.
Absolute about lived experience, invisible battles, resilience, and systems that either wound or heal. So welcome again.
Thank you so much. A lot of information about me, and what do you want to know from me about me or about my work or my vision?
Yes, absolutely. I of course, would like to know everything, but we have just 1 hour for that time.
Yeah.
So I think we can dive in a specific thing. And always it became already traditional. Diversity is the game changer to merge actually our childhood DNA with the people we have become today. And uh, it will be the same tradition and question to you. What kind actually of child? It was a beautiful little girl, Fialkora, and how do you believe this experiences shaped who you've become today, and how usually actually childhood impact our adulthood? Thank you.
Some part of my understanding myself in my childhood in your question, because when you share, oh, so beautiful little child, little girl, when I was child, I think I was child with some understanding myself. Sometimes I thought, oh, I'm so strange when I tried connection with world. And now it's really important question for me for reflection. What I think from about those situation from this point, this place. And what I think, I was so sensitive and observant child. I try to understand, but sometimes it was so difficult because for me it was a long way to understand social, SIGEN, unverbal and verbal communication. But finally, I was a child who noticed emotions, moods, unspoken tensions around me so early, and I think it was not just about my ADHD. It was about some unsafe situations. Sometimes it's comorbidity, yeah. And often I felt responsible for the emotional atmosphere in the room, for safety sometimes, or for trying to understand. And sometimes now I know it was masking, but in my childhood I just thinking, oh, I tried to be like these people. And this taught me so early how deeply environments affect people to me. Or I really understood, not in childhood, after. I use masking all my childhood because sometimes it was not like if somebody hit me, but somebody said me a not so gentle sentence about, oh, why you moving like this, or are you speaking, or sometimes why you want to keep silent. And today really this experience shapes how I work, because I know how it will be in this situation, how feel yourself like I am different. Maybe not with word different, yeah, but we understood in childhood, especially I was born in Ukraine in Soviet Union time. Everybody have to be like the same general, like everybody. And I think in my childhood I was so sensitive and really tried to play in some game to save, to survive, maybe. Yeah.
I can thank you so much, first of all, for opening your heart and sharing this honest story. And I can relate totally because, like you've already mentioned, we are the product of Soviet era, and I'm Soviet as well, and I call it I don't know, syndrome, made in Soviet syndrome. Like you've said, that it was not allowed kind of to be diversified, to be unique or special. You were just a brick of system, and right, even uniform, even you remember how we went to school, everybody really had to be the same from one point of view. I think it helped us a little bit because it was not that much competition between kids like nowadays in some countries. It's really starts so early, what kind of
Yeah.
brand clothes, iPhones, and it's the really reason for bullying all the time. We kind of skip that, but from another point, it's
Okay.
all.
In Soviet Union time, you could be in situation with bullying, but we didn't know this word.
No, we were constantly there, and like you said,
Mm.
even masking and pretending like to stay
Mhm.
safe. It was because why you felt or you maybe experienced bullying. I
Mhm.
experienced a lot at school because my father was addicted to alcohol, and
Mhm.
probably I you lived as well. We lived in this huge house with 9 floors and 6 lobbies, and then all together went to the same school, played the same uh, yard, and then everybody knew about everybody's family and issues. So everybody knows I was a
Mhm.
daughter to one person who actually was addicted to alcohol, and of course that's why I was perfect target for bullying, right? Where at
Yeah.
school.
And general system all time associate you with your family system. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's why, of course, I do also believe so strongly that our adulthood mindset and everything is so impacted by our childhood. From your perspective, now you are specialist, and you also work with right kids and parents.
Yeah.
What they, um, what do you explain to them about this mask in which you?
Oh, sometimes it will be not some new information. For me, it's really challenge. Sometimes work with parents because in past I thought it's just about like about my country, but when I start to work with relocate people or different country, I understood we have some problem when parents think, oh, you can repair my child and
Mhm,
don't understand how feel this child, have support. And another challenge, I hope people understand me. In almost situation, usually when we have some work with neurodivergent child,
mhm,
it's reason to question about neurodiversity in family, not with this child.
mhm,
And stigma continue work, and usually parents want to repair, fix, and don't want to educate themselves,
mhm,
understood how speak with child, how understand themselves. Because um, often I see when I work with neurodiversity, I see neurodiversity not with child,
mhm,
and it's my bigger challenge. But usually, I want to think we have some chance to post-traumatic growth for ourselves, for these children. Yeah, and I realize so early about my think, my mind. Yeah, my vision. It's so different, and I understood almost, especially teenager, what I have in my work. Understood this is, oh, I'm different, but what I have to do with this diversity, yeah, and their reactions and perception did not always match expectations, and we have to support in this challenge. And unfortunately, in my work, I see situation when parents don't want to educate it, go to education, studied something about like just like mental health, nervous system work, and I have some trauma informed work, and it's like rules of this work, like 3 times like minimum, like have to be more, but first part of work like meridian, like a medium part, and end I have to speak with parents,
mhm,
but sometimes I don't have any chance to speak not just like a few minutes, oh, how much cost your work or volunteer work or another, or like oh, what maybe what can you promise to me about this repair process. And it's some moment of celebration when I have good connection with all system.
mhm.
Mhm.
Thank you so much. And actually, it's also connected with my next question that, because it's sometimes so challenging to work and talk with parents. So maybe
Mhm.
you can then help directly a little bit for kids themselves, because you have referred that you could understand at some point of view in your life that you were different.
Mhm.
You felt that. So when did you realize that you think differently and approach this world differently from actually what was expected from you? Then how did that feel at that time? Maybe when parents can hear our podcast, and even maybe young people,
Mhm.
they can really recognize themselves in you and understand,
Mhm.
oh, I'm not broken, I'm not
Yeah, you're
yeah,
not broken. Of
I'm
course, you're not
I'm
broken.
just neurodivergent like Fialkora and
Mhm.
Valeria, and this is a strength. It can be superpower. But how was your experience? How you did understand that you were different?
Uh, Good question. I told a little bit in my answer to prayer
Yes, yes, you
question.
started in the beginning.
Yeah, and I really realized quite early. I didn't realize I'm neurodivergent. I realized just like, oh, my vision, my thinking was different.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and now I understood if I could share this with my parents, and they might know. Sometimes I share it. ADHD, sometimes superpower, but sometimes so problem about
Yeah.
overshare it. And sometimes I share it, but my parents, like a lot of another parents, try to push me to be like everyone. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
maybe try keep this in secret, or try not show this. And this moment broken me, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and pushed to feel alone, because at that time when you feel something, you try to understand what you're feeling, everything about yourself, and you really want a connection with world,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody push you, oh, please play or mask yourself.
Mm-hmm.
um, um, you you start go like you start going to process masking and changing yourself, not like be part of system or find your people. Yeah, like if not just neurodivergent people, but people who want to understand you, or really have an ability to listen to you. And I think I can share it. I couldn't share it this, or when I share it, adults try to stop me.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I didn't have language to describe it,
Okay.
because nobody listened me. How I can looking for this language or try to find something. And at the time, it felt so confusing, and sometimes really lonely, so lonely. And if some parents listen to us, I really want to ask and motivate you, try to listen. Maybe you will not understand everything, but when your children will see you listen,
Mm-hmm.
of course, nobody can full understanding, like a whole understanding, yeah, but you will see you listening, will see you trying to understand it. It give to your children somebody thinking, oh, I'm not so alone, somebody try to support me. And sometimes you could try to remember it's your childhood time, because maybe, I think it's not just maybe, I think you will find something so close to your children experience.
Mm-hmm.
um, I just shared some little moment about me. My father died 1 year ago, and now I have, it's like my grief moment, and my like my work with my grief. I read some notice, like a diary notice of my father, and I understood my father was neurodivergent person, because he not no, I don't remember. He never spoke about childhood experience with me, like just like his stories, like, oh, from this Ukrainian village or something, but never shared with me emotional story. And
Mm-hmm.
now I read and understood, oh, my father felt the same what I felt in my childhood, but why he never shared with me this?
Mhm.
Because it's really good connection. Uh, your children not are not like you, but probably you genetic work and narrow moment in genetic work, and maybe it will be connect when you start listen, try to remember your childhood and find this like a match report. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for wow, and especially opening this very special family story. And it's like you mentioned, it's all part of your grief and working with your emotions and feelings and journaling. And from another side, it can be so also like healing for you to touch that, because we know sometimes when you escape these emotions, they actually really can pack more and more. And now you can understand more yourself. I
But one moment at the same time, my father, who was person who really didn't want to submit my neurodiversity all the time. Oh, please don't share. Say, please don't share this, or try to be like everyone. In my childhood, I had problem. Well, not like a problem. It's what my another child dyslexia. When like it's yeah, it's not like I couldn't read. It
Mhm.
was challenge for my brain, and now I remember how my father sit near me and to really read book for me because understand it's challenge for me. And now I so appreciate and thankful for this moment. Okay, he scary word ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, but my parents sometimes support me with something with my drawing, something with my educate process, with reading, and so, and I asked it about the same sentence: support your children with this challenge.
Yeah. When did you get actually your diagnosis? How?
Firstly, it was just about dyslexia, and it was like with some question. It
Mhm.
really was question in my medical documents, like, oh, maybe it was. I was teenager. I know my parents and I understood I'm different. My parents understood something with my educational process, understanding social signals, was from my time of childhood.
Mhm.
But I was, and I remember how psychologists from school push my mom go to neurologist. It was first way, not it. I think it was not scary. It's neurologist. It's not like a psychoneurologist because we have so bad stigma in Ukraine.
Mhm.
And I remember like cold and shock eyes of my mom when she heard about we think your children not like everyone and but it was good reason to understand myself when I listened to this doctor and
Mhm.
oh maybe it's reason why I disconnected sometimes with my class or children in the garden and it was like, yeah, my family, no one. I am different.
Mhm.
I know when I'm different, but we couldn't speak about it. We
Okay.
couldn't share this with class or school. I remember now. I know. I think it's not like some diagnosis when people. It's not like a non-verbal whole non-verbality. It's. I remember few episodes in my childhood when I stopped speaking with anyone.
Mhm.
We could speak about mutism, but I think it was my grounding for my ADHD, maybe, or how my therapist now think about me. I'm our ADHD, probably, yeah. Uh, and I don't know how my parents could continue keep silent about
Mhm.
myself because I went to school. I didn't speak with anyone. And of course, teachers ask my parents, "Oh, sometimes she's strange."
Okay.
It's so,
Just. Mhm.
it's not strange. It's this answer was so strange.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, but I think general reason it was bullying at school and like now you create new reason for your bullying. Or uh, really Soviet Union time stigma, because when anyone try to pronounce word autistic or ADHD or anything from neurodiversity world, it's like some stamp, or not just on child, like on family, or why genetic, another your behavior. And finally I submit my diversity maybe in student time, and later and continue. No, when I submit, I try to study a lot about why I am this person, what I have in my life, and why is so many neurodivergent people near me. Finally, I married with neurodivergent person. Yeah, but I stay free in understanding me and without stigma and guilty condition. Not in childhood. It was not in childhood. It was about student time when I start worked with neurologist, psychiatrist, my therapy, and it was my way to understanding.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And about neurodiversity, the term itself, for me, I don't know, ironical enough, I've been diagnosed for 15 years ago with OCD, maybe, and then we know OCD always
Yeah.
not just with an anxiety and depression and a little bit of my bipolarity. It's actually all of them spectrum, they lay together, they're kind of friends. So yeah, we know that. But the word itself, neurodiversity, which has changed totally my life, because it's not this scary negative charge word like broken, not good enough, retarded, sick, whatever, like disabled. But it's like neurodivergent. It's I found just nearly 2 years ago, actually, all of a sudden on social media. It was fun or not, but actually I was studying about ketamine therapy. And it was one of media shared that Elon Musk, he is neurodivergent, and he actually uses sometimes ketamine therapy against his depression. And then I was like, neurodivergent, what is it actually? And then I Googled like everybody. I was like, oh my God, but this is also what actually who I am. Why nobody actually mentioned this special term and word which could change totally my life? And then I start discovering more and more about this term. And I know Judy Singer, she coined this term in Australia in 1998, actually. So, question:
Like a long way.
when did you find, actually? When could you first time in your life could discover this word neurodiversity? You can remember how?
Yeah, because in my childhood, I understood like yeah, I'm different, but it was not like I understood I'm neurodivergent. And finally, I think it's stigma worked with me too, because when I know about neurodiversity in my student time, and later I studied something, it was something what I wanted to put on like some far point. No, and sometimes my colleague from mental health community asked me, "Oh, are you ADHD person?" Okay, and I sometimes didn't want to share this. Sometimes another moment when I feel some pushing to myself, keep silent. When I try to share it about myself, like yeah, I have another kind of work of my nervous system. Stigma work with my colleague. Unfortunately, mental health community sometimes have this. And I share it, and my colleague pushed me. Oh, maybe it's something another moment. Maybe it's like a trauma, just trauma, or because sometimes it's so comorbid. Like in the same time, I had healing process with my CPTSD, complex PTSD, and sometimes for psychiatric and neurologists, it was challenge, like understand what push my nervous system now. Um, and about maybe 10 years ago and a little bit less, I start really uh, started share this,
Mm-hmm.
started be public in advocacy.
Mm-hmm.
I think my client motivated me because when I see challenge of their life and how I could be keep how I can be silent in this moment, because if I want to advocacy this community, I have to be public. I have to be a little bit more brave,
Mm-hmm.
broken my stigma, because if I keep silent when my colleagues say to me like maybe sometimes like a broken, unfortunately, I continue support the stigma.
Mm-hmm.
And another challenge for me was when I shared with my husband about all part of my neurodiversity world. And it's my second married moment.
Mm-hmm.
And my second husband, like nowadays husband, and just, oh, but both of us so divergent. Why
Mm-hmm.
you scared share this with me? Because firstly, I shared about my disability, about like neurology with my husband, like oh, it was like pushing boundaries,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so important. Maybe it's not your partner, spouse. Maybe it's your friend. Yeah, good. It will be your family, but try to find some like a care safe person in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's therapist, but sometimes it's maybe it's so close friend
Mm-hmm.
who really stays safe person for you and you able to share. And why just 10 years ago I submit myself, maybe a little bit less. And when I start last 10 years, it's really good time for us because a lot of new knowledge, a lot of new research moment.
Mm-hmm.
And now we have a lot of moment. It's not like it heart disordered. It's part of your nervous system, your neural growing. Um, and finally, I sometimes feel this part who maybe keep silent, but I have brave and strength and power for speak openly, not just for me, for my client, for my family, for all new generation. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very brave. That's exactly what I decided to do, to go publicly, to go boldly. And actually, in every episode of Diversity is Game Changer, I'm mentioning, because I never know what kind of audience can push the button, maybe listen for the first time this episode. That's why I'm not like being, focused so much about myself, but actually, I really hope to inspire and to bring the hope to people can listen us, that there's always hope. You always should feel that really you are not you don't have to be fixed. You belong. You are belonging to this community of human legacy where every single person is unique voice, and our brains are so unique, like our fingertips, like our DNA. So why actually
Mhm.
our brain should be the same? It's nonsense, right? That's why when I found out about my neurodivergence, I was at actually mental institution, and it was very challenging, severe episode of my OCD, and
Mhm.
where I actually decided to start my podcast to help people. It was also there, so I'm joking sometimes that it's not podcast, it's pishcast, because I was in pajama, and it gave really birth. This all of a sudden I found
Mhm.
this word, and actually while I was there. So yes, I am joining you,
Mhm.
that people and parents and kids, if they listen to us, they always first what can really understand that if they feel different, they should remember it's not that they are not okay, they're just different. It's not disorder, it's disorder, it's
Mhm.
different order.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
how many people really who propel our society that are so creative, and
Mhm.
they are behind all innovations. It's what kind of minds, what kind of
Mhm.
brains, different brains, right? So yeah.
Really glad that you created this space because how you say it, it's space when people could inspired, could find some hope. And maybe some sentence for me or for you could be this hope for neurodivergent.
Yes, absolutely, because I know still stigma, prejudice, and discrimination are there in society, and so many young people, they are so confused now with so much noise from social media all the time. They feel even more depressed, they have mental issues. And nowadays I'm particularly in this two subject because one of my daughters, she's suffering a lot, and she has neurodivergence and depression, and she's just 16 and a half. And all the social media, we should be also radically selective really what we can allow kids to watch, because 3 days ago I saw she was reposting from TikTok about depression and suicidal tendencies. So we have to be open, we have to create safe arenas where we can share all this knowledge. Like you and me, we are talking this, we should be so radically
Yeah.
open. Maybe by this conversation, even if we say one person, it's already
Mhm.
more than enough.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for your story. And if you just tell about your actually trauma treatment, what actually, how you specifically helping people. I mean, like if really now some people and parents and family
Mhm.
listen to this podcast and they would like to reach out to you to get some medical help or your help, what can you just very briefly tell us how?
Um, when I work with neurodiversity, especially with family system, like I am clinical psychologist all the time. I have to conversate with psychiatrists, sometimes with neurologists, sometimes with endocrinologists, because
Mhm.
it could be different challenge. And of course, my personal experience is deeply connected to my professional work, because I don't only understand neurodiversity conceptually. Yeah, I feel it like relationally.
Mhm.
And this changed how I work with trauma, trust, and safety. Because um, I know some people from my professional community could be, oh, we have like a protocol, we have uh, some like the same stories, like it's like a simple, yeah. But I think in my work, usually every story, every work, every personal story is so different. It's not like it neurodiversity, diversity in diversity,
Mhm.
and uh, I have to motivate parents, especially speak openly. No, I understood we have to understand of age, but when we speak about teenagers or adult, yeah, in family system, we have to speak openly about medical moment, about treatment, about and not just speak. We have to go to education process together sometimes about emotional intelligence, about your body reaction, and okay, child, come to me. I teach child about sensoric regulation, some emotional connection with body, with your behavior, with your internal feeling. But finally, it will be work if this part will be part of family ritual, like a
Mhm.
family exercise,
Mhm.
family like a speaking time. Because if it just like a 50 or like 1 hour once a week, it will be not work.
Mhm.
Um, okay, it will work, but a little bit.
Mhm.
If children could be themselves, be open without masks, just with me,
Mhm.
no, your mental will be broken after pushing off volt. You have to understood when you can use like a constructive social mask, when you speak of this your role like with your parents, and your parents sometimes in therapy we have uh, moment like playing therapy, playing process in therapy, when sometimes I try to play some another person in life of the children,
Mhm.
and we have real practice, not just with speaking or like emotional verbal muscles mask, with what you start steaming because you have some anxiety. What you can use just now, because if you don't have this pillow like
Mm-hmm.
you've in your brain, you will not use this in real life. We have to, it's like a gentle exposure moment, but good moment when we create really safety, friendly, open relation in family, and children could expose this with family members.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's the trust and safety is totally key in all
it's like
environments.
a ground of everything. Yeah.
It's social glue and everything. It's actually should be based on trust and transparency and empathy and of course love. Then the biggest creation of the biggest tool or medicine I know it can be changed.
And we have to support a moment when we have to break stigma,
Yeah.
because I know a lot of my colleagues from different countries who continue live in stigma,
Mhm.
and sometimes we have challenge when it's time to go to another, like a colleague, yeah, another doctors, time to prescribe something. It's not a solution for all challenge, but sometimes we have to do this. Mhm.
Thank you so much for your story, your open private stories that of course makes tremendous impact on your professional story. And most important, of course, I would like to say how much I'm grateful that you have chosen uh, to turn your difference to be your superpower, that because of that you can understand and help other people. Um, this is huge, I think, because we always had two choices: to always go back and play our victimness, that we are
Yeah.
not victim, or actually do something with that, take responsible choice, and then first is to help ourselves, and then actually even further to get on a mission to help other people. So I'm so thankful and grateful I met you, like I said already.
We do.
Very special place, and I'm sure we can do more together to
Mhm.
raise our awareness and impact. My last question for the show, it's always, I'm joking a little bit, we start from childhood, and then childhood always connected with fairy tales and magics.
Mhm.
Yes, and that's why I always use this very beautiful helper, vice president of my show, Ginny
Mhm.
Lamp. And I'm
Mhm.
always asking my guests that maybe we don't have all world's time to grant you three wishes, but absolutely with pleasure and happiness, we can ask you about one wish. If it was one wish you feel, Cora, you would like to make
Mhm.
like a task for this genie lamp today, what that wish from you it could be.
Yeah, I will be maybe clearly my wish,
Mm-hmm.
and for me, and for you, and for everyone who listen us, please understood you are not broken. I wish that them feel this and really submit this. You are not broken. And sensitive is often a sign of deep awareness, not weakness. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm joined totally because I know myself and you know, and what actually our passionate advocacy, neurodiversity is not a defect. It is a variation of human wiring. And
Mhm.
when we can really talk more open about this and actually understand that we can
Mhm.
transform this into our superpowers with help of society, which actually unfortunately still more neurotypical, or all systems are built for
Mhm.
neurotypical people.
Yeah.
So we can thrive, not just survive, not just adopt, and but really get this moment when we can be seen and respected and yes, celebrated for who we are. This is very important.
And most like a harm comes when system demands sameness instead. Really, most harm comes when system try to fix, repair, um, demand sameness instead of flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. Thank you.
thank
And
you.
my beautiful audience, I'm sure you could gain a lot of knowledgeable insights from my friend and colleague. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me, reach out to her. Can you, before we say goodbye for this time, can you just share where people actually can find you if they want to get?
Yeah, people can find me on my website, fialkora.com, or Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I so open in social network. Yeah, and I think in on my website people could find all my contact. Yeah,
Mhm. Absolutely. So we will be posting as well.
yeah.
And of course, getting in
Yeah,
touch
yeah,
with you
and
and
like last my think it's like last my mind. What we need is more inclusive system, not smaller people, because really inclusion moment. It's not like try to adapt all neurodivergent to system. It will be flexibility. It will be like no, really, we need inclusive system, not smaller people.
absolutely. Let's create it in togetherness
Yeah,
on safety, trust, empathy, and compassion. Thank you
thank you
much
so much.
from Norway, and I hope we can meet maybe before, but maybe next time in Stanford again. It
I
will be.
hope.
I hope. Okay. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you for today. Bye.